Don't announce your engagement at someone else's wedding. Or this might just happen to you. Originally I posted this to r/ProRevenge. But I think it belongs here. Last summer I was at a cousin's wedding. His bride and her family had been close with ours since before I was born. And the couple had known each other since they were toddlers. So it was a particularly exciting event for both sides of the family. However, after the ceremony was over and the party had only just started, one of the bridesmaids decided to announce her own engagement. The attention was immediately taken away from the newlyweds and brought to the bridesmaid, who I'll call Sarah, and her equally smug fiancé. My cousin's wife, I'll call her Emma, didn't make a scene or utter a single negative word about Sarah. She looked like she was on the verge of tears. But she kept grinning and acted very happy for the other couple. This was unusual, as Emma is typically quite confrontational and speaks her mind no matter the consequences. Sarah later picked Emma to be the maid of honor at her own wedding, which took place last weekend. I wasn't there for it, but my cousin sent me some of the best bits on Snapchat and explained the whole situation. This is where the fun begins. Emma's two much younger sisters were the flower girls at Sarah's wedding. At the very last moment, Emma switched out the white petals in the baskets to blue ones she had secretly brought with her. She told her sisters not to say anything about it or let the bride see them until it was time to scatter them down the aisle. Sarah looked very confused upon seeing the blue petals, which didn't coordinate whatsoever with her theme. But of course she didn't say anything about it in the moment. Most of Sarah's other bridesmaids were also Emma's friends, had attended Emma's wedding, and were in on Emma's scheme. At the reception, Emma's sisters and the other bridesmaids were tight-lipped when Sarah began demanding to know why there were blue petals. The wedding planner ended up getting a lot of abuse for not checking the flower girls' baskets before they walked down the aisle. Finally, it was time for the speeches. The speeches took place in front of a massive screen, displaying a loop of photos with Sarah and her husband, which had been compiled by Emma. Emma took the remote that controlled the presentation screen, and at first she showed some pre-approved humorous photos of Sarah with Emma and other friends to facilitate a couple light-hearted jokes. Then, at the very end, Emma said to Sarah that she must be wondering why there were blue petals instead of the white ones originally planned. That was when Emma displayed the last slide from her presentation. Emma announced in front of everyone that she was 5 months pregnant, and that she'd just discovered the baby was a boy. Hence the blue petals. The last slide, her ultrasound picture. There were shocked yells and gasps. Sarah had a fit, but those involved in the scheme cheered so loudly that I sincerely regret watching the Snapchat recordings with headphones. Apparently Sarah had been very nasty to her bridesmaids before, driving several of them away and forcing the others to pay ridiculous amounts of money for dresses. Emma and my cousin were eventually thrown out of the party, but they were all smiles. Sarah's fuming mother went to confront her outside, and Emma retorted with, "Gentle, gentle, I'm pregnant." I reckon Sarah doesn't speak to the majority of those bridesmaids anymore. TLDR, self-important bridesmaid announces her engagement at my cousin's wedding, stealing the spotlight from him and his bride. Said bridesmaid foolishly names my cousin's wife her maid of honor and behaves like a complete bridezilla. Cousin's wife sabotages her wedding to announce her own pregnancy. Edit, thank you, kind stranger, for the gold. Edit 2, oh wow. Silver 2, thank you so much, really appreciate it. Yet another edit, platinum. Huge thanks to everyone for the kindness. I'll never understand why people who hate each other so deeply remain friends with one another. Exactly what I was thinking. There's a lot of narcissism in there to unpack. If this was posted to r/Amath arsehole, it would get a resounding esh. Well, revenge is malicious. And then at Emma's baby shower, Sarah flaunts that she's dying. And at Sarah's funeral, Emma announces she killed her. And at Emma's trial, Sarah comes back as a zombie. Sounds like a shizzy straight-to-TV movie with some down-on-their-luck actors. I hope y'all paid the wedding planner enough to deal with that shiz. I wouldn't wish a bridezilla on anyone. The wedding planner ended up getting a lot of abuse. Yeah, this sucks and everyone in this story sucks except the wedding planner. This kinda gave me a justice boner but also sounds like an everybody sucks moment. It can be both. Sometimes a person is an asshole but it is so satisfying at the same time. Well-deserved asshole moment. I've got one. One of my friends told me of her engagement at my husband's wake. Also good timing. Hol up, at a wake. I was once at a wedding where the bride's younger sister was proposed to immediately after the speeches by her quarter-wit boyfriend. Things weren't quite as civil as in this story though. After the meal, the bride pulled her sister to one side and they ended up in a screaming argument. Then the bride was punched in the nose. Then she head-butted her sister. It was all going downhill from this point, with several other family members getting involved or trying to separate them when the police turned up, having been called by the venue staff, and dragged the pair of them away in handcuffs. Although, fair play to them, it is a wedding nobody that was there is likely to forget. See, I have a happy version of this story. At a wedding, the maid of honor and best man were dating. Maid of honor also happened to be bride's sister. Several weeks before the wedding, best man had gotten the father's permission and dad let it slip to the bride by accident. The bride and groom schemed with the best man and all planned the engagement during the best man's speech. Everyone in the crowd couldn't believe the balls on this guy until finally the bride and groom held up signs that said, "It's cool. We helped plan this." After that it was one massive celebration of just everything. Truly a wedding to remember. When will people learn? We're at the wedding for the newlyweds couple and their family. We're just there to celebrate their day. Seriously. 2 days before my wedding, my wife's cousins found out they were finally having a baby after trying for 7 years. They waited almost a week to tell anybody in the family because they didn't want to take away from our moment. I'm super appreciative of that. They went way above and beyond. She had a child just to take revenge. You need to knock me up now. Bitchy McBitchface is having a June wedding and I need to ruin it. Probably an actual then everybody clapped moment. This. Not hard to believe you could pull of the blue petals stunt. But having the entire bridesmaid party be the first bride's best friends and having the entire group agreeing to ruin a marriage in such a petty way is just impossible to happen unless they're all a bunch of assholes and the second bride is the extra friend in the group. ITT. Yeah, let's hear some revenge stories. Also this thread. No, not like that. It's not the sub to judge. Go to RAITA. Nonsense. Everything uttered to another is at least marginally motivated by personal perception. Such as thinking the internet in any way is a judgment-free area. Ever. Honestly. Your cousin, the bride, and the bridesmaids all sound like a bunch of assholes. I'm not sure who is worse. It's not AITA. This is a true pro-revenge. I don't understand people that do the whole, let's get engaged at a wedding. Can you be any more shallow to use someone else's happiness to make your own because you seriously can't wait a day? Well, I don't think Op said they got engaged there, but that she announced it at the wedding. But still, you're right. It's so stupid. It screams bad judgment. Like they were caught in the moment. I wonder how many actually go through with it. I just picture the husbands and BFS of these ladies packing the secret popcorn to watch everything burn. Or conversing with each other whether or not they really made the right decision marrying these women. Everyone sucks here. Someone was a huge dick to me. So I was an equally huge dick to them. Now we both had ruined weddings. What happened to being the bigger person? Eye for an eye makes everyone blind.